Today on our self-improvement segment, we're going to be talking how often should we change your underwear? Interesting. Now, some of us are guilty. Now, I'm not saying some of us as in me, but some people are guilty. And particularly in secondary schools, I've heard all kinds of stories and horrible rumors of people wearing the same boxer shorts for weeks on end. Well, I've been joined by Maame Akwatela. She is the CEO of AHA Brands, and she's going to help us to understand better the subject that we're talking about. And Dr. Kelvin Owusu will also hopefully join us by Zoom a little later on and give us a medical perspective. Good morning, Maame. Good morning. How are you?
I am good.
Okay, so yesterday was World Underwear Day. Yes, okay. Why do we even need such a day? Why is it important?
It is important because undergarments, we might take it for granted, but it does a lot in terms of protecting our undersides.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Take it as a war zone where the spears and all that are flying. So you need that shield. So undergarments becomes a shield for your underside. Yes.
And so
it's necessary.
And so comes the question, how often do we change our underwear? Now, let me just say that if you're watching us right now, you have any questions for our guests, both Dr. Kelvin Owusu, who is joining us by Zoom, and also Maame, kindly send us those questions by the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and then also the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. Now, Dr. Kelvin is online with us right now. Dr. Kelvin.
Hello, David. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, thank you. Now, how unhealthy can it be to not change your underwear often?
Well, it can be pretty unhealthy, especially if you're a woman, if you're a female. You really have to be more careful with what you wear. Under there, because there's a lot of dynamics that go on down there that is important to the rest of the world, and so we have to make sure that we are keeping the place as clean as possible.
Okay. So medically, what's the worst that can happen?
Infection and infestation, they are not the same thing. Infection and infestation, they can all happen because of unclean underwear. Typical example, something like candida or white, something that a lot of women deal with, a women battle with this candidiasis, and it could be because you are not treating your underwear the right way. Typically, most Ghanaian women, they would wash their underwear and they would hang it indoors. And then when you hang it indoors, and usually hang this near the bathroom area, which is already moist, it's already damp. Now, the candida is a fungus, and it thrives in these conditions. When you wear the underwear, the fungus gets into your area, and then you develop candidiasis. So you keep reinfecting yourself with the same candida, and you keep going for treatment. It's not going, and it could be because you're not treating your underwear properly. And so keeping your underwear clean medically is really, really important because it has implications for you, the woman, and assuming you are pregnant as well, it can even progress to affect the baby, And also, even for somebody who is not pregnant, these infections can ascend and affect your womb and the pelvic areas, and it can have implications for getting pregnant. So it's important for you, the non-pregnant woman, to keep your underwear healthy, keep your underwear clean, and also for the pregnant woman to also keep your underwear clean, because if I'm to go a bit more into, there's a lot of discharge that comes, with the woman all through the day, pretty much. At any point in their cycle, there's some kind of discharge. And that's actually, it can give an indication of what's going on. So there's always something secreting coming down into the underwear. So if you don't change your underwear often enough, the secretions are very, very good for bacteria to grow, for fungi to grow. So if you keep wearing your panties and not washing them or hanging them in the proper places, you are really in for trouble.
Okay. So yesterday was World Underwear Day. Now, Maame was telling us of the importance of the day And as you've also very eloquently spelled out, the kinds of infections and infestations that we can potentially get. How often do you find, as a medical doctor, that in your practice people have come because of this bad behavior of not changing underwear often?
All right, so it looks like a lot of my talk is going to be about women, because the anatomy of the female, it makes the woman prone to these recurrent infections.
Okay.
See, with the male, and I think on the session we had on the UCI, the same issue came up. Because the penis is long, there's a long distance for the bacteria to travel before it can establish an infection.
Okay.
So usually, when underwears, unclean underwears do not affect males as much. It doesn't mean it doesn't affect them, but it doesn't affect them as much as the females. Because the females' anatomy is a bit more exposed to the atmosphere, they need to be extra cautious. So now we have people coming to the hospital with several infections and infestations, which can be attributed to the state of their underwear. Some of them could be on the skin, direct effects. So you may have discoloration around in the skin of your genital area, and you could have itchiness. You could have bumps and what's it called? They're like signs to show that there's been a fungal infection. And it comes pretty often. We see them quite often. And especially when you are just shaved. So because when you shave with a big area, and you can get some little cuts, or as the hair is growing, it makes you predisposed to infection already. So if your underwear is already unclean, you are more likely to catch an infection at the point when you shave. So it will present as bumps in the pubic area. So we do get them pretty often. And I already spoke about the discharge, which is already a big subset of the cases that come to the hospital. Then in association, we have the skin manifestation. I'm talking about itchiness. I'm talking about bumps. I'm talking about raised areas and itchy areas on the skin as well. So these are the reasons why a lot of people come to hospital, which can be attributed to the underwear. So when they actually adopt healthy underwear practices, some of these conditions will resolve by themselves, even without treatment.
Okay. Now, let me come back to you, Maame. Why don't we just go about in our birthday suits and just feel free in life?
I mean, that's all the doctor has said. If the ramifications of not wearing that is too much, health reasons, because if you should, let's say a lady should just sit, we're wearing a dress, and it just sits with your natural self.
Yeah.
Every bacteria, every yeast, you're so much exposed. So it's very important that you wear an undergarment, and the right one as that, the right fabric, great cotton undergarment, especially those of us in the African sub-region with the weather that we have. Yeah. It's very important that you wear the right ones that will protect and be soft under your Netherlands.
Okay, but some people make this argument that I'm from Afaho. So it's like, allow, let's not cover it up. And I mean, I have this argument that the men have, where it's said that, and I'm sure Dr. Kelvin can corroborate this, but the testicles need to be in a cool environment to be virally productive, just really active and give good sperm and good semen, right?
Yes.
If that be the case, is wearing, undergarments not going to, restrict that and limit that and all of that?
That is why I said in my first submission that it's very necessary that you wear the right fabric. Okay. So you need to wear, especially for men, you need cotton, 100% cotton. If any mix, maybe just 2% of spandex to give you comfortability around the area. But it's very necessary that you wear cotton that is very breathable. Okay. Very, very breathable. We are used to buying lots of nylons in the market, and this does not do as good. The doctor has said it all. So when you are invest in very good ones that would keep your crotch very cool and well
aerated.
Yes.
Okay, so for men, I mean, he spoke a lot extensively about women. Yes. For men, I mean, we don't have the open exposure as much as women do.
Yes.
What's so bad if I don't change my boxers in like a week?
I mean, we have a lot of excretions, okay, from us.
So
4 of them, let's say, let me just name about 4. Number 1, urine, we have the fecal, we have sweat, and then also the other side, I mean, sexual aspects. Yeah. And so all these coming in there breed lots of bacteria and yeast in there. So it's very important for me, I would say, after every wash, after every bath, don't go back to that old boxer or trunk. Just pick a new one and feel fresh with it. Understand? After, I don't think you should wear an underpant for more than 24 hours. I don't think this is right. No.
Really?
No.
Some people say that's pretty expensive.
How expensive would it be? When you go to the hospital, it will be more expensive. You understand? Okay. So I think that it's just natural that you've taken a shower. You need to feel fresh within and without. So it's very important that you wear the right undergarment, the cotton one, fresh, so that, I mean, you go out and conquer. Okay.
So the question is, how often should we change our underwear, right?
Yes.
I understand that from 2 perspectives.
Okay.
One is what we've dealt with, which is on the regular. How often should we change? You're saying that nobody ideally should go more than 24 hours wearing the same thing.
No.
Okay. Now, how often should we change our current batch of underwear?
And I'm happy you said batch because first of all, how often you will change it will depend on the number you have in rotation. Okay, so if you have 3 that you keep washing, okay, you wear and wash, the wear and tear will be higher.
Okay.
But if you have 24 in rotation, it means that you can.
Hey, 24. Then I have what to do.
I have male clients who have who come and buy 24 at once.
Okay.
Okay, and then they will have that for possibly a year. They could even go beyond, but they prefer to actually change them in a year. Sometimes you will see some holes in there.
Yeah.
And that holes is not for ventilation, it's the wear and tear. So if you have the holes in there, it's telling you that it's getting tired. The fabric might, where the hole may be, can be a problem because, first of all, we said it's for protection. So if you have the hole in there, that means that protection, you're not probably getting it from that undergarment. And then there are some too that you see that there's some discoloration from those 4 points that we talked about. So if there is a discoloration, that means that you've tried all the bleaches and it's not really working. So you better throw it out so that you have a
fresh set.
A fresh set. Yes.
Okay. Now, let's come back to the ladies. During the menstrual cycle.
Yes.
Okay, and during specifically the period.
Yes.
How often should they be, planning to make changes? I mean, how often do you have to change your underwear?
Okay. Thankfully, we have sanitary pads, which becomes a protective shield between the undergarment and the one menstruating. So you must always have a pack with a few panties with you, so that should you soil yourself, you can put them in a nylon bag and pack away. So it depends on how much you bleed. If you don't bleed much and your sanitary pad is holding on to it very well, I think after a shower, definitely, just like before, you can throw it out. But if someone who bleeds a lot and sometimes some of the stains go in there, immediately you have to change, or else it can even soil your clothing, your outer clothing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So for women, it's not just the panties, but also the bras. Let's talk about the bras.
Very important.
How often would you recommend that ladies need to change their bras?
Okay, so for ladies, most of the time you have people wearing the bras for over 3 weeks to 1 month continuous.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. And
oh wow!
Yes, some ladies have only maybe one good bra, so because it's their favorite, they keep wearing it and wearing it and wearing it. Just giving it about an hour to wash and dry is going to be a problem. So it's very important that you have at least, let's say, you can wear it twice, depending on how you sweat. If you don't sweat much, you can wear it about twice or 3 times in a week. But we would recommend that when you bath, you throw it into the laundry bag, and then you wear another. Yes, but it's mainly how your sweating nature. If you sweat too much, then definitely it will carry some odor, which might worry you later. Yes.
Okay. So, in terms of the change in the batch of bras too, what's your
recommended
cue?
Number?
What's your cue for changing? Is it that it's becoming weak?
Okay. All right.
Or there are holes in it, that's why you change?
All right. So, bras, we are talking more of support when it comes to wearing a bra. So, and the support normally comes from elasticity of the elastics that we use to build the bras. So you would realize that with a continuous wash, the elasticity will go down. So if it does, then you would realize that it's not giving you that oomph, it's not giving you that lift that you had. Okay. So if that is the case, then you need to move on to another one that will give you the glory.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Owusu.
Yes, David.
Yeah. So when it comes to women and their period, give us a picture of what's the kind of worst situation that you found as far as this whole underwear thing is concerned. I mean, Maame made reference to the fact that of course, now we have pads and so on. But in your medical practice and experience, what's some of the horror stories you can share?
Okay, so let me just say that when we spoke about infections and all, but understand that when a woman is in her period, her risk of catching an infection is even much higher. Okay. You know, because now the womb is actually open. You see, because before you are, the womb is closed, the cervix is shut, and so nothing for all intents and purposes, nothing goes in and nothing comes out. Okay. But when you are having your period, your cervix is now open. So whatever is in the womb is actually what is coming out. I mean, that's where you see the blood and other things that are coming out because of the period. And so once this is happening, it also means that anything that is outside can also go inside. And so when you are having your period, this is the most important time. If you have not been keeping your underwear healthy and clean all this while, when you're having your period, it is unforgivable if you don't keep your underwear healthy, because then you are going to definitely come back with an infection. I mean, typical example, and almost everyone will attest to this, there's always a period, either a 1-day period or 2-day period, when the period actually stops, where you mostly have lower abdominal pain. This is usually at the end of the period has ended, so the pain is not related to the period, but then there's always a brief period of pain when the period has ended. This is actually because if some bacteria may have actually gone in and we're trying to establish an infection. So that is even when you have kept everything healthy, there's always that small infection that always happens that the body is able to deal with. So imagine if you have not kept the area clean. And so it's important that during your period, you change your panties actually more often than you would usually. And this is even more so if you bleed a lot. So the heavier you bleed, the more often you must change your underwear. Because it doesn't matter how good the pad is, sometimes there can be something they call flooding. And the pad will get super soaked and it could stain the panty. And once it stains the panty, remember that the panty is exposed to the outside world. Bacteria love blood. So they're going to come and try and eat the blood. And as they're doing that, they also have access to more blood coming from inside. So obviously, why do I want to stay in the panty? I'll go up and go and enjoy more. So then, there's an easy access of bacteria to the womb. And that can result in an infection of the womb, which can literally put your reproductive life to an end. You may not even have children ever again. And so those are some of the stories. I've actually encountered people who have had to have their wombs removed because of infection. It happens quite often. So you might think that I'm too busy to change my panty or too busy to wash my pants, whatever, and end up losing your womb because of an infection. So it can get really, really horrible. Because like I said, the womb is open during that period when you're having your period and your monthly flow. So you really have to take extra precaution when you're handling your underwear at that particular time.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kelvin Owusu. And Maame, so where can people come and get bras and all of that if they're looking for any?
Thanks for the opportunities. Okay, so we have AHA brands. We have branches at Accra Mall, West Hills Mall, and at Chimota Mall. Okay, so they can come to our shops, and we're having a sale, a major sale.
Oh, I see.
So this is where you can get your stack of 24. We're doing buy two get one free. Even some buy one get two frees. So they should come around this Friday to Sunday and get their stack of underwear. Okay. Yes.
Where you?
Accra Mall, West Hills Mall, at Chimota Mall.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Super.
Thank you.
Thank you. And what sort of like a price range? How much people put in their pockets when they're coming?
Panties you can get from 7 cedis.
Okay.
Panties from 7 cedis to about 35 cedis.
So something like this?
This set is about 180, but when you with the sale to come down to about 120 thereabout. Yes. This is very good designer bras. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you very much to you. Maame Akwatela. She's the CEO of AHA Brands. And we're also joined by Dr. Kelvin Owusu, who's the Medical Director for Optimal Care Diagnostics.